Imagine Athens in the 4th century BC, the center of civilization. The city is filled with wealthy merchants, politicians in expensive togas, and philosophers delivering complex lectures in marble halls. And in the midst of all this splendor, in the main square, lives an old man. He sleeps in a large clay wine jar, a pythos. He dresses in rags. He has no home, no job, no family, no money. When asked what he is doing, he replies, "I am looking for a man," while shining a lantern in the faces of passers-by in broad daylight, implying that he was surrounded by nothing but pretenders and mannequins. His name is Diogenes of Sinope, and to most of his contemporaries, he was a madman, the town fool. But history has set the record straight. Today, we understand that this bum was perhaps the freest man who ever walked the earth. He was the first true punk, the first radical minimalist, and a master of what we now call the subtle art of not giving a fick. We live in a world obsessed with the idea of more money, more followers, more square feet, more experiences. We think that happiness is an equation of addition, that if we add a new car, a new job title, and the perfect partner to our lives, we will finally feel whole. Diogenes laughs in our faces. He argues the opposite. Happiness is an equation of subtraction. In a world where everyone is a slave to their desires, debts, and the opinions of others, Diogenes showed that true power isn't the ability to buy everything you want, but the ability to not want what you don't need. The secret to freedom is not in expanding your possessions, but in narrowing your needs to the point where fate simply has no way to strike you. After all, how can you take something from a man who needs nothing? How can you humiliate someone who doesn't care about his reputation? Today, we will talk about the art of strategic indifference, not laziness or apathy, but a powerful, active philosophy that can free you from the cage of successful success you've built for yourself. We will learn to see the world through the eyes of Diogenes, a man who had nothing, yet possessed the entire world. Let's face it, we live in the era of the curse of more. Our entire economy, our entire culture is built on one simple but destructive principle: to create a void within you and then sell you the patch. You are told, "You're not good enough as you are. Your teeth aren't white enough. Your car isn't fast enough. Your home isn't smart enough." Marketing is the art of manufacturing dissatisfaction. Its goal is to make you feel an itch that can only be soothed by a transaction. And we scratch that itch, we buy, we achieve. And what happens? A brief moment of euphoria, a dopamine rush. You unbox the new iPhone, you breathe in the new car smell. But 3 days, a week, a month passes, and the magic vanishes. The object becomes ordinary, and the void inside opens up again, only now it demands an even more expensive patch. Psychologists call this the hedonic treadmill. You run as fast as you can, you earn, you spend, but in terms of happiness, you stay in the same place. Diogenes understood this mechanism 1,400 years ago. He watched the Athenians drive themselves mad trying to impress each other with expensive tunics and feasts. And he made a diagnosis: we don't want things, we want status. We want love, we want security. But we look for these in stores where they aren't for sale. Recall the famous line from Fight Club, which is pure Diogenean cynicism: we buy things we don't need with money we don't have to impress people we don't like. This is the very madness that Diogenes offers a cure for. He invites us to stop and ask, whose desire is this? Do I really need this 5-bedroom house that I'll just have to vacuum? Or is this desire imposed on me by a magazine and envy of my neighbor? Every item you own, in reality, owns you. A house requires maintenance, a car requires insurance, expensive clothes require dry cleaning. The more possessions you have, the more anxiety you have about losing them. You think you're buying comfort, but you're actually buying chains. You are trading the hours of your one and only life for pieces of plastic and metal. Diogenes chose a different path, a path of radical refusal that grants radical power. Diogenes' philosophy is called cynicism, from the Greek word for dog. Yes, they called him a dog, and he wore the nickname with pride. Because a dog lives in the moment, is true to its nature, and doesn't care about social conventions. The cynic's main superpower is the ability to say, "I don't need that." There is a famous story. Diogenes, living in his barrel, had a very modest set of possessions: a cloak, a staff, a bag for food, and a wooden cup for water. One day, he was sitting by a stream and saw a boy scooping up water with his hands to drink. Diogenes immediately took the cup from his bag and smashed it on a rock. He said, "A boy has surpassed me in simplicity of living. I have been carrying the excess baggage." To us, this sounds like madness. Throw away a cup? Why? But consider the logic of this act. Every need you cross off your list makes you more invulnerable. If you don't need expensive clothes, you aren't afraid of staining them and don't waste time choosing them. If you don't need a delicacy for dinner, you will never go hungry, as a piece of bread can be found anywhere. If you don't need the approval of the crowd, you cannot be insulted. Reducing your needs is a direct path to increasing your freedom. Imagine a person who needs a $10,000 salary, a perfect spouse, the respect of his colleagues, and a vacation in Bali to be happy. If you remove even one of these elements, he is miserable. He is fragile. Any crisis can break him. Now, imagine Diogenes. He needs the sun to keep him warm and a few lentils. He cannot be blackmailed. He cannot be fired. Nothing can be taken from him because he has nothing. This is the power of no. In a world that screams buy, achieve, conform, the most revolutionary act is to say, no, I have enough, and I am enough. This is not a call for everyone to move into barrels. It is a call to find your own cup, the excess baggage you carry out of habit, and to smash it, to get rid of mental and material clutter to make room for life. But things are only half the problem. The heaviest chains we wear are invisible. They are the chains of others' opinions, and Diogenes was a master at breaking them. We all play roles. From the moment you wake up, you put on a mask, the professional mask at work, the good friend mask at the bar, the successful person mask on Instagram. We are terrified that the mask will slip and everyone will see the real us, tired, imperfect, strange. The fear of judgment is the whip society uses to keep us in line. Diogenes decided to cut that whip. He turned his life into a continuous performance art piece aimed at shattering social norms. He might start eating in the main square, which was considered the height of indecency, like eating in a restroom for us. He might enter a theater as everyone else was leaving to show that he was going against the flow. Why did he do this? Was he an exhibitionist? No, he was training his independence from the opinions of others. Diogenes called this askesis, a form of training. He deliberately put himself in awkward situations to toughen up his soul, making it insensitive to ridicule and shame. One day, he was seen begging for alms from a statue. When asked why he was begging for a stone, Diogenes replied, "I am practicing how to handle rejection." Think about how powerful that is. We are afraid to ask for a raise, afraid to approach someone we're attracted to, afraid to voice an idea in a meeting, all because we fear hearing no or looking foolish. Diogenes actively sought out these no's to understand that rejection doesn't kill you. The laughter of a crowd leaves no physical scars. This is the art of being inconvenient. Freedom begins where shame ends, not shame for immoral acts. Diogenes was highly moral in his own way, but the toxic shame of not meeting others' expectations. Do you want to quit your prestigious job to become an artist but are afraid of what your parents will say? Do you avoid posting photos without filters because you're afraid of being called unattractive? Then you are a slave. You are living in a prison of others' eyes. Diogenes teaches us, let people think whatever they want about you. Let them think you're weird, a failure, a madman. If you are honest with yourself and your nature, their opinion carries no more weight than the bark of a dog behind a fence. And to drive this point home, let's travel to Corinth, where two of the most famous men of antiquity met. A meeting that revealed who was truly a king and who was merely a servant to his ambitions. This scene is worthy of a Hollywood film. On one side, Alexander the Great, a young god of war, conqueror of half the known world. He is dressed in gold and purple with an invincible army at his back. He is the embodiment of absolute power and success. He has everything a person could dream of. On the other side, Diogenes, an old man lying in the dust, half naked, basking in the sun. He has nothing. Alexander, having heard of the philosopher's wisdom, approaches him. His shadow falls over Diogenes. The emperor expects the old man to jump up, bow, and start fawning over him. But Diogenes doesn't even sit up. He just squints slightly. Alexander, wishing to show his generosity, says, "I am Alexander the Great. Ask of me anything you wish, for I can give you anything." At that moment, the entire entourage froze. What would he ask for? Gold? A palace? Power over the city? This was a once-in-a-millennium opportunity. Diogenes lazily waves his hand and replies, "Step aside, you're blocking my son." It was a shock, a slap in the face to the most powerful man on earth. The soldiers gripped their swords, awaiting the order to execute the insolent man. But Alexander laughed. He understood. He saw in Diogenes' eyes something he himself lacked: absolute, terrifying freedom. Alexander was a slave to his empire, his plans, his fame. He constantly needed to conquer to maintain his status. Diogenes needed nothing. Turning to his entourage, who were laughing at the foolish beggar, Alexander spoke the words that would go down in history. "If I were not Alexander, I would wish to be Diogenes." This dialogue contains the essence of our problem. Alexander is us, chasing success. We think that when we conquer our own Persia, earn $1 million, become a CEO, we will be free. But each conquest only adds to our worries and fears. Alexander died young, feverish, in a foreign land, never satisfied. Diogenes lived to a ripe old age, dying on the same day as Alexander, according to legend, but in complete peace. Who was the richer of the two? The one who owned the world but for whom it was not enough? Or the one who had nothing but found a sunbeam to be sufficient? Diogenes proved that wealth is not a measure of a bank account, but a state of mind. And this idea resonates surprisingly well with another great tradition that arose on the other side of the world. While Diogenes was shocking the Greeks, sages of Taoism in the East were arriving at the same conclusions, though through a different path. Lao Tzu, the legendary founder of Taoism, said, "He who knows he has enough is rich." Both Diogenes and Lao Tzu discovered the same universal law, the law of sufficiency. We are used to thinking of life as a struggle. We must swim against the current, break through walls, achieve. This is the path of hard power, the path of Alexander. But there is another way, the way of water. Lao Tzu taught that water is the softest thing in the world, yet it can wear away the hardest stone. Water doesn't fight an obstacle, it flows around it. It doesn't strive for the summit, it flows to the lowest point. And that is why it is invincible. Diogenes was a master of this flow. He didn't fight the system, he simply stepped out of it. He stopped playing status games. When you stop wanting to be important, you become invulnerable. You become like water. Imagine someone insults you on the internet. The path of Alexander, the ego, engage in battle, prove you are right, waste your energy, defend your honor. The path of Diogenes and the Tao, ignore it, or laugh. If this person knew me better, he would have said far worse things about me. When you give up the fight for status, you free up a colossal amount of energy. The energy you used to spend maintaining your image, worrying about what will they think, and buying unnecessary things. Now this energy can be directed toward what truly matters: creativity, knowledge, the simple joy of being. This is the Tao of not giving a damn. It doesn't mean you don't care about life. It means you don't care about the trappings of life. You focus on the essence. You stop being a hamster on a wheel and become an observer who watches the wheel from the outside and smiles. You need far less than you think to feel alive. You don't need success to breathe, to see the sun, and to think. But how can we apply this ancient wisdom in the 21st century? We can't just move into a barrel, though the idea is tempting. We need practical tools for urban life. You don't have to throw out all your furniture and sleep on the floor to become a 21st century cynic. Diogenes' radical minimalism is a metaphor, not a survival guide. But we can take his principles and adapt them to our reality. Here are 3 urban Diogenes practices to help you regain control of your life. Practice 1. Digital detox. Informational ascesis. Diogenes threw away his cup because it was unnecessary. Today, our unnecessary cup is the phone. We consume tons of informational junk we don't need to impress our brains. Try a strict diet. Unfollow all the influencers who make you feel not enough. The rich, the successful, the perfectly beautiful. Delete news apps. Keep only what provides value or genuine joy. Once a week, have a day in the barrel, day without screens. You'll be amazed at how time slows down and how clear your mind becomes when you stop pouring digital noise into it. Practice 2. Decluttering, the Marie Kondo method for cynics. Walk through your home, pick up an item and ask not, does it spark joy? But, does it make me freer or does it weigh me down? That exercise machine holding your clothes is a monument to your guilt for not working out. Sell it. Those souvenirs you have to dust are stealing your time. Throw them away. Keep only what you use. Empty space in your home creates empty space in your mind. And emptiness is an opportunity for something new. Practice 3. Radical honesty. Diogenes spoke truth to kings. Try, just once a day, to not wear a social mask. Say no when you're invited to a bar but you want to sleep. Say, I don't know when you don't know something, instead of pretending to be smart. Say, I don't like it when everyone around you is praising a trendy movie. It's only scary the first time. Afterward, you will feel an incredible surge of energy. You'll stop wasting effort on maintaining lies. Being yourself is the most efficient strategy in the world. These steps are simple, but they require courage. The courage to be wrong, but the reward is worth it. We began with the idea that the secret to happiness is not having more, but wanting less. And now you understand why this isn't just a nice phrase, but the only working algorithm in a world that has gone mad. Happiness is not a process of addition, it is a process of subtraction. Imagine your life as a hot air balloon. Right now, it can't take off because sandbags are tied to the basket. The car loan sandbag, the fear of judgment sandbag, the envy of colleagues sandbag, the need to conform sandbag. You try to inflate the balloon more, work harder, achieve more to lift this weight. But Diogenes suggests something else. Simply cut the ropes. Drop the ballast. Quit the race you can't win. Stop buying things to fill a hole in your soul. Stop seeking approval from people who don't care about you. And then the balloon will rise on its own, effortlessly and naturally. You don't need to add anything to yourself to become happy. You are already whole. You already have the sun, the air, your body, and your mind. Everything else is just scenery that you pay for with your life. The freedom of having nothing is not about poverty. It's about owning things without letting things own you. It's about being the king in your own mind, even if you sleep on the floor. Remember Alexander and Diogenes. One had half the world but died in anxiety. The other had only his soul but died free. The choice is yours. Continue building your crystal palace of things and obligations, or smash your own unnecessary cup and finally take a deep breath.